Hey, everybody, it's Picks in Deep on Sportsnet.ca. I'm JD Bunkis. He's Justin Bourne. We're going to try and get you set for Leafs Habs from a gambling standpoint. So, first of all, Bourney, do we think this is going to be a long series? If so, how are we going to bet it?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? Like if you bet the Leafs because you think the Leafs are going to win, you don't really make any money. So you got to kind of find a way to make a couple bucks. So what I've done is taken the Leafs minus 1.5 to win the series. So it's basically saying the Leafs are going to win the series in 6 games or less. And at that point, you're getting paid out at about minus 150. I think it's minus 154. So it's not a huge payout, but you still get to pick the Leafs, and you're not, throwing your money away to make none. How about you?
So I'm going to make it a little juicier and say the series goes under 5.5 games. And this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be Toronto. This can just be anybody, which if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, you think Toronto's overhyped and they've got ghosts, then you can still win too. But I think it's a one-sided affair. I think that the Leafs are a deeper team, a more talented team, and a more stable team right now that has better coaching. And so when I look at that in conjunction with 7-2-1 in a regular season and the state of Carey Price right now, I think that it's very likely Toronto could wrap this thing up in 5 games. If you take the series total under 5.5 games right now, which I know is a little risky sounding and a little bold for Leafs fans, it's plus 120. So I'm going to take a little bit of that juice away. I'm going to tease it up to a plus number. But yes, I think we're both working on the same theory, which is it's going to be a shorter one, and Toronto has a pretty steep advantage here. So with that in mind, let's talk some player props, because the natural thought process behind it would be, well, if you guys like a short amount of games, then it means that you don't like any overs, which I don't think is the case for either of us.
No, like for me, I really like to bet overs on numbers where you got a nice flat line, like 2 goals or 3 goals, as opposed to 2.5, 3.5, because I like the insurance of pushing. It's a little bit cowardly, which I know you like as well. Sure. Yeah. So on the Leafs side, I think a guy like Willie Nylander, his number is plus 120 to score more than 2 goals. I like his odds of getting 2 goals. That's kind of where I see him throughout the series. If he has a good series, I can get paid on that. If he hits my number, I get my money back. If he only scores 1, it's a disappointment and I deserve to lose the bet. So I tend to look for numbers that are flat rather than the 0.5s.
Yeah, you get to bandwagon with all the internet Nylander fans. You want to be a part of the gang.
Cool. Put it on my back. I love it.
You want to be a Neanderthal. So I think it's really interesting that Cole Caulfield, his total is 2 goals. And it's, again, that flat number that you talked about at plus 130. He's not even playing in game 1. So I think if you're doing anything, you're betting the under. But why I find this interesting is because Nick Suzuki, his goal total is over 1.5 at plus 130. To me, he's one of the scariest guys on Montreal. Like, if I'm just looking at this from who's the big game player already? That guy already proved it last year. That guy's proved it in junior. He's a good goal scorer. He's just the type of guy who I think shows up in these games. So if there's someone from Montreal's standpoint, I just look at the guy who's done it already and who has a goal scoring track record all the way back through junior. So I kind of like Nick Suzuki over 1.5 goals in the series, even if it's short.
Yeah, you can hit him for points too. His number is 4 points even. So you can kind of do my cowardly thing where if he gets to 4, you're push, and then you're playing with house money. And he's plus at that too. And he's going to be a guy who's on the power play for them. Like, if there's a Montreal push in this series, Nick Suzuki is going to be a part of it. So 4 points as an over bet I like for him. By the way, the Caulfield thing, I did under on him. I think it's minus 180. He's not even playing on Thursday night.
Yeah, the thing about Caulfield is I cannot envision a scenario where they lose game 1 and then he doesn't show up for game 2. My favorite bet, by the way, is yet another over in a short series, and that's John Tavares over 4.5 points. I don't really get this line. He was a point-a-game guy against Montreal this season in 10 games. And if you just look at the way that Toronto is designed to win and the way that Montreal is going to try and hardline the Matthews group, I don't see a scenario where Tavares can't come up with a 2-point game, maybe a 3-point game, and actually wrap this thing up for you before 5 games even finishes. If he's just on track with what his regular season numbers are, he hits this bet for you in 5 games. If it goes a little longer and you're someone that believes that too, I love John Tavares over 4.5 points.
Yeah, and even looking at the length of series we're talking about, if it is 5 or 6 games, imagine picking through the box scores after the series and seeing that Brendan Gallagher doesn't get 2 goals. He's getting 2 goals. For me, he's a pretty easy bet. He pays plus 130, and 2 is a nice even line there too. So I'm insured against that one too. So Gallagher as an over is another Montreal one I like.
Justin Bourne, a man who loves a push, just keeps his money, has a bet, doesn't lose.
That's reflected in my gambling bank account. I am your
Absolutely.
safe choice.
Absolutely. Okay, this is Picks in Deep. Again, we're going to be doing this a couple of times a week. So follow, subscribe, review. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your picks are. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man.